In this video, we're going to show you how to install the valve cover on your Volvo XC60 located under your hood. With the hood open, go ahead and locate the engine cover here. We're simply going to pull up on this here, disconnecting the rubber grommets from the post, and then set that aside. Now right here is our valve cover. We're going to go ahead and replace this here. And even though we can gain access to the bolts holding this here, we do have the wire harness running across the front, and this is a little bit rigid. So what we're going to do is going to go around the front here, disconnecting the harness, just pressing in on these little tabs on the back side, and we're going to run right down across the tops of the coils and around the other side. And then push down on the little spring tabs here, pressing down and wiggle the connectors off, and just continue this process right down and around. We do have a harness right here. I want to go ahead and disconnect. We're going to use our trim tool to get underneath, and we're going to lift this up and pop this out of the valve cover itself. Now our valve cover is held in place by 14 T30 Torx bit screws. They run right around the perimeter, around the back side, and one right here. And then we have a sensor right here. It's one of the cam position sensors, and this is held in by a T30 as well. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove this sensor here. It's going to make it easier for us once we unbolt everything. We lift up on this. We don't want it to catch on that sensor. So go ahead and use your T30 Torx bit. Pop that out. All this hardware we're going to be reusing, so make sure you put it in a safe location. These sensors are held in with a rubber O-ring, and sometimes they can stick a little bit. Pop that up and out. I'm going to run across the front side here, removing all of these here, and then we'll use our extension and a swivel to go ahead and get the ones along the back. Now our choice of tools to get into the back here, I'm just running a short stubby ratchet here a longer extension and a swivel head with my T30 on here. Now along the back here, the only bolt that I can actually see is on the back corner over here. The other ones that run along here, I can't see, so you're just going to be doing it by feel. They're not super tight. If you wanted to, you could probably hook up an electric driver here to zip these out a little bit faster. But remember, you don't want to lose this hardware. So once you're breaking free, as soon as you can get your hand on them, if you can, it's always best to reach down there and unthread them by hand. This center one in the back is the hardest one to get to. One of your other options for a setup here is if you don't have those other pieces like swivels, you can use a double wobble, which means that the end of the extension itself has a wobbly head on it. And this is going to allow you to get down and around to the back side. Using a swivel can be used, but it does wobble around and can fall off of the Torx bit, especially if you can't see it. So you might have better luck with something like this to get down and around. Now you've confirmed that you removed all 14 of the Torx bit screws here, plus this one here off of your sensor, of course. Now I want to go ahead and loosen this here off of the top of the engine. I'm going to go ahead and use my mallet here. You can see that it just kind of pop free. Now you want to pay attention to this here, and what you may want to do before you remove this here is use some compressed air or a vacuum and clean off any of the debris here that's on the top. Make sure you put a towel inside here before you do so. Now that we're cleaned off, you go ahead and rock the valve cover a little bit, break that seal, and then we're going to lift this up and out. Now that we have our valve cover off, this here has a seal that's built into it that runs around the perimeter. Now when you remove yours, your seal may stick to the engine. It's okay because the new valve cover comes with it. Before installing the valve cover, you want to make sure that you prep the top side of the engine here and make sure that is clean of any debris, dirt, anything like that. Now we have a plastic blade here. You don't want to use a regular razor blade because you can gouge the aluminum and that could potentially introduce oil leaks down the road. Now something like this here, you're gently going to scrape away from the inside of the engine and just get any of that junk away work your way around the perimeter. If you don't have something like this here, you can simply use some spray solvent and a rag and wipe along the engine itself, cleaning up all the surface where the new valve cover is going to sit. And your goal here is try to prevent any debris from falling down inside the engine. After you do scrape it with the gasket or the plastic blade here, we will also spray it with some solvent. We will put that on a rag, not on the engine itself, but we're going to spray a rag and then wipe it down. Periodically change that rag, flip it over, whatever you got to do, so you're not just continuously wiping dirt back onto the engine. If you feel that you're wiping dirt onto the cylinder head itself, go ahead and grab your vacuum, and it's okay to vacuum up in here. Now on the old valve cover here, the gasket itself runs around the perimeter and it should be sticking out a lot further than what it is. It's almost flush with the valve cover itself, and this is why we're replacing it. We had an oil leak and it's coming from the valve cover seal itself. Now on the new one, you can clearly see that our gasket is much more raised, as it should be. And this is going to allow for the proper seal on the top of your engine. Now that the engine's clean, you want to go ahead and take your new valve cover, make sure that the new gasket is pressed in all the way around. You want to make sure that it's fully seated. You just run your finger along there. Okay, our new valve cover is ready for installation. Let's go ahead and get to it. Go ahead and take your valve cover here. Okay, lower that down into position. I'm going to go ahead and start getting our screws installed. And our goal here is to pretty much get all of them started by hand. And then we can come on back and snug them all down. When installing these valve covers with those gaskets the way they are, there's no need for additional sealing, no RTV, any of that stuff there. And those gaskets are usually reusable for many, many miles. So if that valve cover should need to come off another 2-3 times, usually that gasket will still be pretty well formed. This vehicle has over a few 100,000 miles on it, and that gasket was pretty much done at that point. These back ones here, once you get them started, if you can, go ahead and thread them down as far as you can by hand. That's going to save you a lot of time of trying to get that to line up with your T30 Torx bit. But they're pretty easy. Once you get it in the hole on the valve cover grommet there, then you can use your fingertips and just spin those right in. And just like that, we got all 14 of those in and started. Now I really just want to get these gently snugged. Once they pretty much bottom out, stop. Now we're going to go ahead and torque down all of our Torx bit screws to 7.3 foot-pounds. It is not a lot. And you want to go ahead and follow the pattern that is going to be presented on the screen there for you. There it is. Now that our valve cover is torqued, we now install our sensor on the back. I'm going to remove the little towel here. And we grabbed our sensor. We did clean it and we put a little thin coat of silicone paste on the O-ring itself. That'll help that pop right into place. Go ahead and get that bolt started. I'm going to torque that down to the same 7.3. Go ahead and install your harnesses here. And install it into the edge of the valve cover right here. Install your ignition coil harnesses. And you're going to feel these engage when you press them on. You're going to feel them in here and clip into place. Just going to continue this right down the front. Grab the engine cover. Line up the oil fill cap with the center here, and this almost lines up perfect. Just push down, and you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.